welcome again for the third mini roundtable. I always forget to do that. For the PGRU, 30 through 21 are going to be talked about today. Coney's joining me here in a hot minute. Before I frame everything and explain that today's reveal for the PGRU encompasses 10 people who are now in the middle of the rankings for the first ever Smash Ultimate Global Ranking. There is some talk about what made it such an incredible deal to make it onto these rankings, what events were featured, and most of all, how is it that these rankings came about and what exactly puts some players over one another. In any case, I'm Suar from PG Stats. There's a couple things we're going to go over first, and that mostly hinges on the fact if you read the FAQ or not, which is on the Red Bull site, published right beneath all the articles. If you haven't already, check us out on Twitter at the PG Stats, where you can catch the latest updates from us on the rankings. We have 2 more days, next Tuesday, next Thursday, right before Evo Friday, for the top 20. These top 20 players have been, according to some people, already locked in, tracked down. People are making their guesses or speculations, and we're going to take some of that maybe at the end in the form of Q&A, as opposed to thinking, you know, maybe where those people landed, what's the order, and most of all, what this top 10 is. In any case, we're going to go ahead and bring on Coney as we go and look at this top 30 through 21. Coney joining us here from MDVA. He just came back from a long vacation in Australia a couple weekends ago. Now we've done a roundtable on Monday. Alan joined us on Wednesday. And now for this afternoon, we're going to have Coney joining us on this Friday. So, Coney, bud, how's this Friday afternoon? Pre-Evo weekend next week. This weekend we got the Thunder Smash Invitation. Are you supposed to go to that?
Yeah, I'm flying out to LA tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So I am not excited for that. That's not going to be fun, but I got to do it. Yeah, so Thunder's this weekend. I fly out at 6 a.m. and then I get back in MDVA. I'm taking a red eye, so I get back here at 7 a.m. and then I'm going to work Monday. So.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be a weekend, and then Evo the weekend after that, and then SmashCon the weekend after that. So summer is Smash, baby. Lots of stuff on the horizon.
It's started. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Smashcenter, again, your source for the weekly, monthly, yearly coverage of Smash Ultimate tournaments, news, controversies, and more. We've taken now the last 3 episodes, including this one, and the next 2 that are set to happen next week, to talk about the PGRU, its reveal. The top 50 pretty much has been pretty, I want to say contentious, but also well-received, both by top players, Redditors, the Twitterverse, even teams now looking and expressing a lot of interest, excitement over their players making it or signing over prospective players. Quick reminder for everybody, Coney's talked about it before, I've talked about it before, the X Factor. Now for the, I think, upteenth time, you're going to see it on these player cards. We'll explain it in greater detail once we get there, but just know right now, without any graphical support, the X Factor is a completely subjective value that's given by a panel, basically rating where they think these players fall from their own perceivable skill, potential, and even like the results. So when you see that in the cards, they didn't affect the score. It's just another thing we're adding on. The score is completely devised empirically and impartially through the algorithm that Practical Tasks has developed, and that takes into account head-to-head counts, outplacements, placements, the whole thing. So without further ado, we're going to bring that on. Coney, any words before we start? Were you surprised you get a chance to catch the reveal?
No, I caught a lot of them. My surprise is I got some surprises, but we'll talk about it as they go. So let's start with number 30.
Awesome. So checking it out now, we're going to be playing it and then, seeing it not live since it came out a couple hours ago. We're going to look at now 30th. This range, I got to say, up until the top 20 has been pretty insane. I think a lot of people were surprised to find some of these faces down here or as high as up here. But here at 30th, we have, of course, Leia. Your experience in Japan, Coney, brings us to what?
I was going to say, I don't know really anything about Japanese players or what they do, but apparently this guy didn't go to anything, because we got 9th at Frostbite, 25th at Umabura Major, and then 5th at Umabura. This surprises me, because you got 3 things, no B or C tiers at all, and I don't know if this is talking about, I don't know if we're taking into account locals in the Japanese,
No locals at all.
Yeah, so 3 placings and to get 30th. That's very surprising to me.
Yeah, so a lot of the points on this ranking, at least, considering the fact that it's the first one for Ultimate, so many things were crazy. We had 3 patches, 2 new characters. I mean, Piranha Plant, of course, being released with the game. Hero, not yet to release. Smash and Splash deciding to do Swiss Round Robin. Japan deciding to do, or historically as they always have done because of schedule restraints, best out of 1 pools. And on top of that, every other thing that you could imagine, from people DQing in bracket to underseeding, overseeding, etc. So in Leia's case, right here, the way we have the graphic organized, on the top you have the S tiers, on the bottom you have the A tiers. Umabora down to Albion for the A, G6 all the way down to Smash and Splash. These are organized, if this is your first time watching, chronologically. So in the season, out of all the S tiers, G6 was the first, Smash and Splash was the last. Similarly, Umabura was the first A tier that happened, and then Albion 4 concluded the PGRU Season 1 weekend, July 7th. Now, I talked a little bit about it before and the values of it. So getting to Coney's point about, wow, 3 tournaments, how did this player make it? How did Leia go to 3 events and make it? So I'm just going to go to 3 S tiers and maybe take a set off Cosmos. Am I going to get PGR'd? And the answer is, it depends. The thing here is to keep in mind, and you can see it on the TTS, we stacked all the tournaments based on how many people went this season. And again, this is background framing in case you haven't watched. First time viewer, welcome. If you've seen this before, Stuart, Practical Task, Bernard's Loop, anybody in the chat, I mean, sorry for boring you once again. But we see that Genesis 6 is the highest weighted S tier, had the most entrants. Frostbite was the smallest S tier. CEO was the highest rated A tier, and then down at the bottom, Umabura SP3. For the case of Leia, though, let's examine a couple things. We saw his highlight trailer, pretty awesome and pretty hype. Cut from Japan did an amazing job. But here, a couple of things. X Factor -2, not benefiting from the Japan bias, the supposed Japan bias that the panel had. Most of them had a double-digit positive X Factor. In this case, the panelists put Leia at 32nd, but he's 3-3 against the top 50, 50% win rate. Right to avoid Wadi and only losing to Cosmos and Vidini Atono. Does that help anything on your end, Coney?
Not particularly. I mean, like, it's so I'm seeing that when he shows up at the S and the A tiers, he pops, right? I mean, we've got what 9th, 25th. Yeah, he's good, right? But you look at this, and it's like, I think the reason that the X Factor is so low and not in the 10s or the double digits like we saw for other ones is because nobody expected him to be this high. I think it would have been different if we expected him like in the 40s, or, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think people expected him to be 30th, and I think that's sort of why it's weighted. And it's not even, so when we looked at like 31 through 50, we saw so many people with a win on Tweak, with a win on Leo. A win on Void is nothing to sneeze at, but it's not quite at the same level as a win on the, or even a win on Mars. So like those 3 are pretty solidly likely the top 3. Maybe Shuton is in the mix too. I don't know. You know the answer. I can't say. But Raito, Void, and Wadi are not really the super that next sort of echelon, that caliber of win that I would expect. So I'm surprised for him to be here. Part of me wonders if it's like you were talking about, sort of that first season sort of mixery that's happening, and now maybe with the next season, you know, it might not be as weird, but it strikes my eye strange because the wins aren't amazing. It's only 3 events and no really farming of B and C tiers. And don't get me wrong, like the placings are fine, but no top 8 at an S tier, and then 5th at an A tier. I'm just surprised for him to be this high, but you know, good for him. I definitely think he's good enough to be this high or higher. It's just when I look at the data, I'm really surprised. Yeah,
so I think many people would agree with you there. I would at first. The thing to take into account too is that his losses were also squeaky clean. I think Leia's an example of a player that the algorithm, with such little attendance and an international star, meaning that like the majority of his events, which were all Japanese except for Frostbite, 2 out of the 3, kind of creates an issue where you try to like relate them to like the skill of the North American players. But What's true though is when he came here, he did only lose to Cosmos and MVD at Frostbite. If he had lost in pools, if he had gotten upset by someone who wasn't PGR ranked, I think that would pretty much tank his losses. But in Japan, he was losing to Choco and Ken, and those are two players who were previously PGR'd who didn't make it this season. No spoilers there.
Okay.
So again, when you take these losses and wins, that's against the top 50. You extend it to the rest of the qualified players, and in Japan specifically, he was able to beat. Let's see. So Linamato was one. He beat Craftus no, that's someone else.
When we're talking about the losses to Ken and to Choco, are they weighted based on old PGRs? Because I'm wondering if that's helping him. No. Okay, because those are not particularly like. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but like those aren't particularly great losses. So for him to be, I don't know. I'm just just the mishmash of all the things together is surprising me.
Yeah, the thing is that those losses are strong in Japan. They're not strong. Choco and Ken like qualified within like the original people that we were able to see, like, you know, had the attendance, had the results. They're like on the lower end, of course, but they're still the notables. When he was losing there in Japan, it was those two, and so when you extend like again like the top 50, like it starts to get like a little wider. A lot of the people under him in 31 through 50, I mean, if we just compare him, who's 31st? Dark Wizzy. So Dark Wizzy, again, like amazing job, went to like so many things. He went to literally 9 events. He went to the Momocons, everything. He got 13s, all that. But his losses at certain times like dragged him down a lot. He had lost to Ozone at Frostbite. He did lose to a player named Jack at Collision, and then all of his other losses were very clean and they were high quality, and then his wins were amazing. So getting dragged down by a couple losses and also by placements that were lower than Leia's kind of did it for Wizzy and then everybody else that was after him. I'll just say now that the cases for 21 through 50 can be so skewed based on one really good run, one really bad loss, or an absence, like a key absence. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But we'll see how the rest of it forms up. I think a lot of people were happy to see Leia. Definitely seeing Japan on the PGR is always like a blessing for many people because they don't get to travel so much here when it's not just like the usual Komorakiri Kamame gang. But yeah, congrats to Leia, 30th. Another Greninja player though made it to 29th. This is an interesting story, one for many reasons, one we won't talk about today, but C-tier farmer, I think.
I was going to say, look at those C-tiers, baby. Damn.
And those are the ones we were able to show. Stroder, coming to us from Arizona, got first at Ascensions 3, 2, 4, and 5, and the Crown, and Smash Point. So he had, by himself, 6 C-tier wins. At all those events, there were varying people of various skills. Like, it wasn't necessarily like a collision, but there's still wins, right? So for his case, everything else, Smash and Splash, Genesis 33rds, the Prime Sagas, like, he has that definite edge over Leia because at that point, like, there's no more that we can really, not give, but no more that we can really show for Leia since, like, he had such little attendance. But regardless of that, congrats for Stroder. Have you met him before, commentated him? Any thoughts on that?
Haven't really seen him play too much from like the commentary desk in the past. But no, he's very talented. You know, obviously a great Greninja player. Kind of interesting that we got 2 Greninja players back to back. Just sort of makes the case of, you know, who's the better one, I guess. But I remember the ESAM win was a big deal when he got it way back when, and now I'm looking at it again, and it's like, all right, he had a win on Puppet, Prodigy, and there's that win on Tweak again. Tweak is just dropping sets here and there.
Tweak's like almost like a Zero-esque, Nairo-esque, DeBuzz-esque win, career-making win, like it was in the beginning of Smash 4.
Yeah, and if you look at the other side, it's like a Captain Planet who's who of just it's like Epcot over there, just losing to France, losing to Mexico, losing to Japan. He's just the worldwide. He's the world traveler, but he's losing all of them. But no, 29th is super good. And this is sort of where so all the other streams that we've had where we've talked about this these top 50s, we've looked at these set counts versus top 50, and like we've seen stuff really low or sort of in this area, but this is, I think, where it's going to start to like even out for
or
a lot
positive,
of people.
Yeah, or slightly positive.
Yeah, 36 makes sense. The 50% for Leia doesn't really make sense because it's like it's such a small sample size. This is obviously over double that, so it is bigger. But 36% is about what I would expect for this.
For someone
good
in the
stuff to
mid-range.
Schroeder.
Yeah, good stuff to Schroeder. Not mentioned on the card because they weren't ranked, but he also has beaten Eon from Cali, CDK, Charlie the King, Leffen, Elegant, who's really popping up already. He beat Quick, QUIK, he's a zero suit from Europe. Nico twice, he beat Best Ness a bunch of times, Pandarian, Ozone, Pandarian again. So, again, keeping in mind, this is like just locked in for the top 50. For Schroeder's case, like it would look a lot different if it was the top 100. But for someone in the mid-range, like right smack dab in the middle near 30, I mean, pretty good job, all things considered. And free agent now, so barring everything else, he's available for anyone who's looking, and he's in Arizona. So if you want a Greninja from Arizona, Schroeder's your guy. Anyways, 28th. Any big surprises head turning here?
Yeah, big surprise. Okay. I did not expect this at all. Looking at the results, I mean, the CEO pop is important. You know, 5th place there. That's a big deal. But you look at 97th at Frostbite and Smash and Splash getting 49th, especially with the weight that we've seen Smash and Splash kind of to have. I was really surprised by this because I felt like Smash and Splash was sort of a make or break for so many people. One of them we're actually going to talk about in just a second. But first to just roll with it, and then 13th to just roll with it. That's kind of a microcosm of what you can like see with the rest of this. You know, he's either getting first at a C tier or he's getting 13th. The wins look good, but to be this high up again, I'm really sort of thrown off by this. Anybody from like 21, more like 25 to 50, I'm not too surprised because like we've talked about before, that's just where it's so sort of open to interpretation, and like you can make the numbers dance, and like the algorithm chooses who it likes, whatever. But this one just really kind of threw me, and I think the negative 13 X Factor kind of that's one that I could definitely see that makes sense. And again, I gotta give this disclaimer every time I talk about anybody, because otherwise it's gonna get clipped. Pape is very good. He's very talented. I'm just surprised by this number.
Yeah, so the other thing to really look at, right, is no one really had outside the top 15 a consistent season, which you're correct. In the previous videos, we talked about Smash and Splash, since it was the second highest S tier, being such a big deal for so many players. If they got a 9th, if they got a 13th, that was practically, you know, in the running, top 4ing an A tier sometimes, depending on the A tier. But what's crazy is that when you look at Pape, he has like a pretty favorable win rate. And then on top of that, at Smash and Splash, he happened to have lost to, let's see, Smash and Splash, he lost to Pandarian and Schroeder. So tough losses, Schroeder big, more favorable since he's right in around here. Sure. And usually 97th would, I mean, that's like not something you see on anyone after 40th. Right. The CEO was, the career making run, but everybody else that you'll see up until 15th, like, has a bunch of blotches. And I think that's like, it's indicative again of like a new game and learning like the footing. So nobody else after this, like for the most part, has like that clean record that you'd expect. And every now and then you might see a 65th, a 49th, a 33rd, less and less and less. Yeah. But the trouble in this season, which we started to see after we started getting the data, is like presentation wise, it's hard to really like highlight a player in a way that makes it intuitive as to who should go over who, because if you just had this page, then he's really strong, you know. But a 97th at Smash and Splash, like, that's an ugly number. I mean, I remember when Trella had like 256th, or maybe it was 512th or something 3-digit on his PGR card because he lost a CEO in pools, right? it's like that's just one part of the story, and if anything, what's holding him way back, because he's almost like a Leia-esque player where he had like a very even set of wins and losses, and they were all extremely high quality. Some of his losses, like Lazy Boredom, Strike, he even lost a Salt one at Just Roll With It. Definitely add to the mix, but like Samsora is great, Nairo's great, Esam is great. I mean, Pape really did it, and I'd be curious to see.
I think the Samsora and the Nairo wins are doing some heavy lifting here. Not to say that anything else isn't good, it is, but I think that those two wins,
of course,
that back air on Samsora. If he was the player who got back aired, I'm pretty sure he was.
He was.
That back air on Samsora might have jumped him like
10,
15 spots. Like, seriously, that one move might have boosted him way up in the PGR. So that's a big deal. Big boosh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well done.
No, it is. And that's where it gets kind of crazy to like sort of put one person over the other, because like there's like these career defining things that happen in a set or in a game that like, you know, it could have been Samsora 0-1, and then he could have been like 35th, maybe 40th. I mean, who knows?
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like in this PGR, people are setting like wins like being valued really highly, and it's an even split. But the thing is like when people want wins to matter or not matter, it's important to look at like the player. And when people want placements to matter or not to matter, it's also important to look at the players. So we might see that theme play about in this 21 through 30. Regardless, for Pape, great job. Obviously, there's another trainer that we're going to talk about later. But for Puppy's sake, I like this added detail that like he does mostly use Charizard in a lot of clutch situations. And that Charizard literally got him that win on Samsora. So big ups to him.
Yeah, boosted him super high up. Well done, Pape. Another MDVA guy. It's super funny because Pape was always kind of like, I don't want to say unknown, but he was known
Scrappy.
in MDVA. Yeah, like he was an MDVA guy. And like, you know, people knew him in our region, but outside of that, nobody really knew the guy. So yeah, good for him. I remember commentating him in an Arcadian in Smash 4, and now he's number 28 on the PGR. So well done.
Yeah, I remember that Arcadian. Chic.
Less said about that, the better, because it's Pape's day today. So let's not talk about what happened there. All right.
So speaking about someone's day today, Mute Ace. I saw Samsora's live reaction to this when he was streaming his reveal earlier. Or not his reveal, but like his watching of the reveal. Mute Ace is a great story. Florida player, extremely strong. And again, I make mention like 49th and 49th. Many people might be like, wow, it's really dicey. He's never even made top 16. But he won DreamHack Dallas, third at Come to Papa 3, both of those being B tiers, first in an Overlords Orlando, and his wins were incredibly impressive. Mute Ace brought to the table a lot in terms of the Peach metagame, you know, with Samsora chiefly. Both of them are great friends, both of them pop off, they share the Peach tech. But you'll see in a second on the win card, there's a particular player that he's like 0-3 on, but Sam is 3-0 on.
Yeah.
Or not on his win card, it's later. I think it's Salem. But yeah, Mute Ace, awesome guy. Great things to say about him.
Yeah. Again, just kind of flies under the radar. Really, I think the interesting thing here is the dead even X factor, which is funny because like this is.
I think.
Like, how many of those do you have
6
really in PGR history? Like
6 on this one, and usually every PGR anywhere from 4 to 5, and it's usually the top 10.
Okay, I was gonna say it's
like
got to be top 10.
0 was always 1, like literally the player 0. Number 2 and number 3 usually were right, and then this time on this exact PGR we had 6 0 X factors. And
is this the first one?
I think that we hit. If anyone in chat can confirm, I don't even have the list in front of me. Yes, I do. But yeah, X factors, again, if they're positive, people are saying that your data, or that you should be higher than your data shows. If it's negative, like it was for Puppy, then people are saying that you are way higher than you should be, which is where your data takes you. In that case, for Puppy's X factor, I think a lot of people, they'd imagine him a little bit lower. I think they're probably considering how close the set was with Samsora, because the algorithm does not take into account games, only sets. A lot of people probably were like, well, he barely got that. versus convincingly. Every now and then someone slaps a top player up like pretty hard, and then you can
that creates more of an impression.
Yeah. So the first 0x factor is it is to mute.
Okay.
Everybody
I'm
else,
trying to like do math in my head about like what we're gonna see later, because like, okay, this is one. I don't think it's a spoiler to say Leo's another one. So I'm like, like what else could there be later on? But I guess we'll see as it rolls on.
Yep. So Mutace right here, losing to Captain Zach, a dear friend. Also played Bayonet and Smash 4 a lot, so plenty of interface. 2 wins on ESAM, 1 win on Light. Correction, graphically, he did not actually get that win on Light. He got it on the German Light. When we gave the results for the editor to make, I think it just like slipped through because we gave like the full list, and German Light slipped in. But I assure you, it's not in the actual algorithm. It was just graphical error as it happens. He did beat Zach, I promise you that. Lost to Cosmos, Mars, MVD, Raito, and Shoyo James, aka Rivers. So when he wasn't doing that, he was beating Mewtwo King. He was beating... He beat Tachyon and Fwed, Canadian Fox, I think. And he beat Anti twice, which Anti and Larry Lur are like the talk of the season as well because they didn't make it clearly. Yeah. But it's undeniable that they're like pretty sick nasty when they want to be.
Two very good players.
Yeah, also beat Utopian Ray. So Tri-State Palutena in the mix. Mutace 27. So congrats to him. So far the second Peach Daisy because Umeki made it. I think there was only Samsora prior in Smash 4, so it's interesting to see there's 3 Peaches now.
Strength of the character, I guess. I mean, like, you're not seeing people pick up Peach for like, for the first time. No. Yeah, exactly. It's like people who've been playing her for a long time, played her in past games, and now they're succeeding. So not too surprising. They just kind of got the luck of the draw with that, but good for them. Exciting to see them pop off.
Yeah. So for Mutace, gonna have a season that's probably also gonna be really strong as he continues with Peach. But Nakat here at 26, really, really cool to see him up on the PGR. I think it's always hype when he's on it. Juggled characters at the beginning, but then he stuck to Pichu really early, and I think that was great for him.
Yeah, I think he needed to do that. Like, he was trying out Ness when it first started, and he's like, all right, this isn't going to work for me. So kind of went with Pichu, tried Inkling for a little bit, tried out different stuff. It's really good to see because I think Nakat is a player that a lot of people know is good, but doesn't really pop like that. He's like always been that top 32 guy, and I think that's where he likely would have stayed if not for he had this killer run at Smash and Splash. And I mean, like, you could see it here, 33rd at Genesis, 33rd at Frostbite. Like, he's still maybe not in the top 32, but threatening it and close enough. And then he had that killer run at Smash and Splash. I think that's really what solidified it here.
Oh, yeah. And to Nakat's credit, like at Genesis, he was stopped by SDX and Mars. SDX being a little bit of a wild card since he, of course, retired shortly after, but he was extremely strong as a player and also, knew Mewtwo, worse off, better off, like for whatever reason. I mean, that still was only 2 months after the game came out, month and a half. And then at Frostbite, he got stopped by TEA, the Pac-Man, and MBD. So it's like, those are like a Pac-Man and a Snake, dude. Like, that's, man, that could put a stop to everybody.
Sure.
Or anybody. But he did have an amazing run at Smash and Splash. He even got interviewed after the winner of Smash and Splash about his run. He had beaten Stroder, Jen, Yeti, Nairo, Mystery, Shoyo James, aka Rivers, and that netted him a 7 at the second biggest event of the season. I think earlier when you said that like Nakat kind of gets like slept on, I think it more so also has to do with the fact that, at least for the majority of Smash 4 with its like increased streaming and more events on Twitch and everything like it is now, usually he got to Game 5 with very key players and lost them all. Yeah. And he was a big Game 5er for the longest time, which then always had his fan base on the edge of his seat, on the edge of their seats, because he almost did it, but he didn't. And then it had any hater basically saying like, yeah, you see that's what happens to Nakat. So not
he kind of had that reputation.
Yeah, not the case this time. Pretty comfortably at 26. Very, however, like people still want to hate if they want. -7 X Factor puts him down into 33rd, but that win rate was pretty respectable. Almost a coin flip every time he goes in. You got both the Misters, Nairo, Rivers, and Yeti, like I said, and then he was only losing, really only losing to the amazing players. So big ups to him. And I believe he's coming back to Tri-State, to Jersey. So
yeah, I saw that. I wonder what's happening in that loft situation. I mean, like, it's obviously not our business, but so many people are going out of Ohio, and
well, it seems
maybe
like
the house is just gone. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know Tweak, as he posted publicly, got his own place. And so with that being said, Tweak's got his own place. And then that means the loft, like, is migrating at least without him. But the big thing now is that there's really not a lot of noise made by SoCal so far. Like, the release hasn't shown anybody from SoCal, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm looking at all these regions, Vancouver, Tri-State, Southeast, Kanto, Tri-State, Kanto, Tri-States might be the new SoCal bias. Because these events are about to really pop off into the B tier pretty easily, and maybe even A tier if they want.
Sure.
Pretty much everyone's here, along with the DeBuzzes, but DeBuzzes, Nairos, and now Nakat, right? And even Rivers and Mars and Light coming in from New England. So the Northeast might actually be the new best region pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't even really know if it's a question. I mean, Florida can make a case for it just because that state is so huge. And I know that there's a lot of talent there, and they're kind of spread out. But yeah, I mean, Tri-State is incredibly strong, and I feel like SoCal, in terms of like top talent, you've got Void. I can't, like, nobody's immediately coming to mind. I've got a bunch of people that I have to check myself.
Was not like before.
Yeah.
I think, with the 2GG events and the frequency, like, you saw a lot of people pop off. Charlie, even Elegant got his way there. They did it, they won, so that's their credit. But, like, something just hasn't happened yet for SoCal, which is, I mean, it wasn't this season, which doesn't mean it can't be next season. So
yeah, you can rattle off a lot of names, but I feel like for SoCal, it's like you have to constantly check yourself because they're not popping in this game. It's like that guy, this guy, this guy, and all of them are like you're thinking of 12 months ago.
So
Void is the only one to show any staying power.
So looking at Tri-State now again, first Pac-Man to ever make it to the PGR again.
Really?
He made it in V4 and V5, but he's the first person to do it with Pac-Man back then, and then also bringing him on to this PGR as well. Senchi, super crazy.
This is what threw me, because if you look at some of the other results, right? If you look at some of the other pages, they don't look as good as this dude's. Like, I didn't know Senchi showed up on the big stage like this.
Let's bring it back.
And it's kind of interesting because, like, at G6, I'm seeing 25th, Momocon 7th, Pound 9th, Stio 25th. But at B and C tiers, he's not really popping off at that level. He got 7th, 13th, and 17th. And part of me wonders is, like, Senji is, like, this drunken master. Like, if you know what he's doing and you get Pac-Man, he's going to get 17th. But he's showing up to these regions and he's doing stuff you've never seen before. Who fights Pac-Man? That's not very common. And I think that you've seen certain players on this list, like Yeti is one of them, playing like Mega Man, and it's like, okay, you're taking people off guard. Senchi might be the purest sort of distilled essence of that. Like this, it's so funny to see this disparity between S and A tiers and C tiers.
Mm-hmm. The man did it, honestly, and he did it with a character that a lot of people said got buffed. Pac-Man seemed to be doing better than he was in Smash 4, and other characters that used to really keep him at bay, aka Cloud, not really in the mix anymore.
Oh, Pac-Man can fight you.
Yeah.
Now he can actually like get up in your face and fight. So.
Yeah, there's an issue potentially with Pac-Man, but Senji did it, and it's cool because he had a goal of making PGR early on in Smash 4, and he made that, and his reaction to making it on this time, he was like, pretty content. But his current goal actually is to win a major. So this is not enough for him, which I admire. And a lot of the people, since it is still almost 6 in the afternoon and a positive win rate right here. But it's almost 6 in the afternoon, 6 in the evening rather. SoCal's still waking up since it's 3. Smashers don't have a bedtime. So a lot of the reactions come on through Twitter, and they're usually entertaining / inspiring or cool to see. And in this case, Sinji's was just like, I wouldn't win a major. This made him say I wouldn't win a major still. Not, oh, I'm happy, I'm settled. Like, it's cool to see people they have a fire burning inside.
I think he's very good, but good luck.
Yeah, I mean, good luck to anybody playing against him, because right now, like, it's just really, really hard. Like, against Pac-Man, it's still not solved, and a lot of characters aren't solved or anywhere near being solved. I would say even at the end of Smash 4, nobody was quote-unquote solved. But, like, if Pac-Man still isn't optimized today, which clearly has to be the case since it's only been a couple months, and Sinji's still getting nastier with him, it's only going to be up and up from here. So we'll see how that plays out. 25th was way awesome for the first appearance. Top 25 in the world. Did it with Pac-Man, Cosmos, Myron, Rivers, Great Gonzalez, and a Void win. Mars, Nairo, Samsora, Tweaka's losses, losing twice to Sam. So
very impressive.
24th though, that's here.
There he is on Angry Gaming.
Oh my god.
That's super funny. Is Wadi, baby. Now, of course, I have to be from the region with the best Rob player in the world. Just my luck, right? That abomination of a character, but yeah, Wadi's stuff sort of. This is the
Is Rob nasty?
I hate this character. I hate Rob. Rob is the character I would delete from the game if I could. And it's funny because I used to hate playing against him on Mewtwo, and he's like, oh, word? Like, okay, Mewtwo's not a character anymore? I got something for that, and here we go. So, yeah, Wadi's super good. This is sort of no real surprises here, at least on the placing.
Mixed in, you got a little bit of the lower range, but top 8 at CEO,
Right.
Keep going.
I mean, when I look at this, I get it. This is a top 25 rankings sort of placing set. And I think this is where things are going to sort of stabilize. And I think that probably closer from 20 to 1st is where you're going to see placings and be like, okay, I get it. This might be the start of where things stop sort of taking you by surprise. I mean, there's not really much to say about this. Dude's super good. Found a new character, which actually was his old character. Good X Factor too, yeah. So people hold him in high regard.
Even the senpai shout out, if anyone caught that reference in the picture, Cud did it again. Often cosplaying a Zero Suit, but for Wadi's case, if we could, we should just make an Area 30 or Area 20 and Area 21 and just have everybody from 21 through 50 there, because again, win rate impressive, wins impressive, losses impressive, but the placements, like, classically for everybody, anytime you tell someone, it's like, hey, what'd you get? Oh, I got, I went 4-2, it was like 65th. People are like, oh, it's not that bad, and it is, but it's not, but it is. And that's really just the format of double elimination. It's like, whoever got upset and you ran into, it could end your run prematurely. But Wadi did very well, as evidenced by his card. He also took a win on Larry this season. He took a win on Magister as well, and Wrath. These are historic PGR names. He was beating those historic PGR players in a new game. He lost to Leffen. He lost to YB twice. That's the Dark Samus / Zero Suit main from Japan, who went to Prime Saga. So a little bit of a surprise there, but everything else was very clean. Myron, Leo, Mars, Leia, Captain L, Mars again, Samsora, Proto Banham, and Glutoni, sorry.
Yeah, Wadi, I think his greatest strength is that he's not one to lose upsets very often. Like, I think we saw his name earlier on, but, like, it's not very common that he'll lose to somebody below his station, whatever you want to call it.
Caliber.
And so he's sort of almost like a top 16 gatekeeper in that regard, but only one way. He's like a semi-permeable membrane because you won't.
You did
you
not
won't
just
beat
say
him.
that.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse.
The
of
power,
cell.
yeah, that's OG.
Wadi will beat people above him, but if you're below him, you will not beat him.
You will
and
not.
sometimes viruses happen. Sometimes bad things happen.
Oh my
and
god,
stuff
this bio
not
thing
supposed
is.
to.
Let me give you your own
But
setting.
he is that membrane. He will beat people below him, and he might beat people above him, but nobody's going through that wall. That's how I feel.
The semi-permeable
membrane of Smash.
The semi-permeable membrane of Smash, powered by MKLeo, the mitochondria. I'm the nucleotide there. That's my role.
Yep.
But yeah,
you've exhausted my information about cells, so that's about it.
Can the microbiologist in the chat please come in? But yeah, he never really ever lost either in Smash 4 to anybody he quote unquote shouldn't have. He was always very calm, cool, and collected, very chill guy. I mean, on Twitter doesn't pop off really. I think he's more laid back, maybe a little bit of like humor now and then, but I don't think he really plays the game, and I'm glad he doesn't, because more and more people shouldn't. But yeah, congrats to Wadi Senpai. Obviously, the Senpai power up, the unforgettable proposal into 3-1 or 3-2 handshake that he did on Tweak at the 2GGC finals. That is stuff of legend. So for Wadi, congrats. I think in the article he's number 1, or is he number 0 in your top 20 in MTV? You guys do top 20, right?
No, yeah, I think we do 20, but he's number 1. It's him, Puppe, ZD, and then I think Seagull. I don't know, something like that. Maybe Dexter above Seagull. I don't know. I don't go to locals. Who cares?
You're such an awful person.
All right, 23.
So 23, a lot to say here. I'm just updating something. And for now, the win rates are pretty even, like you said. 8-9 for Wadi. Everybody else gets pretty even or just about positive. For this case, though, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this person. Is gonna come up here. And yeah, a lot of people were expecting it, but also a lot of people wanted him top 10. And that's none other than not Vinny G, but Proto Banham. Proto Banham, Japanese Lucina. His Twitter is just, I think, Lucina_SSB4. Like, that is, he's almost like he's like the Dark Wizzy of Lucina, pretty much.
SSBU_Lucina, that's what it is.
That's hype.
Nope. That's him. That's him.
3 events, a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss, what the heck, rigged, Japanese bias, but at the same time, we don't reward internationals, is like word on the street. So it's like almost like an oxymoron catch-22. How can the PGR give Japan bias, but also not support international events at large? He shows us right here, second at Umebura Japan Major gets you just that. A lot of people think at EVO, he's gonna really pop off. Some have said, quoted Hungrybox saying top 3 at EVO. Other people are saying
Hungrybox is a hype beast.
I know.
Hungrybox is literally saying that for the likes. Anyway, sorry.
I didn't know that actually. Anyways,
he's saying it. He's saying it for the eyes. Proto Banham is Zach Ray 2. That's what this is. He might do great. That's fine, but he already popped at Umebura Majors, so that's his load. Is he gonna pop off again? Maybe, but that X Factor +5 is insane to me. That's the Japanese bias at play, and I feel like I hadn't heard of this guy. And again, I don't follow the Japanese scene much, but this guy's name has been coming up in the past month, and I think he's riding that wave of momentum. He's in the public eye all the time right now. I think he's Zach Ray too. I think he's very good. But we thought Zach Ray was like, we built up this whole storyline where Zach Ray's going to take the scene by storm. This child is going to beat all of us. Bro. His feet don't touch the ground. And then he didn't do anything after.
He did and then stuff.
He won. Okay, yeah, he won his locals with Pokemon Trainer. He's good, but he's not winning everything over and over. We have an established top 5, and he's not in it. Dude, Proto Banham won't be either.
There's a Freezy Pop type of take, dude. There's a Freezy Pop take. Cold take, Coney. So Proto Banham, 3 events. He got the event of the season for Japan.
Yes.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I don't know what you're laughing at. But pretty much
in the chat. Yams is my boy. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Oh, Fire Yams. Oh my god. Yeah. He got that second, dude. Second at the first ever historical, crowned, famed, fabled S tier for Japan. He got second, and like, you don't just get second in Japan, dude. Like, come on, like that doesn't happen. And at Japan, in that tournament, at least of notable names that he did beat, he had beaten Choco, Rima, and then he also beat Cosmos at the same event. He beat Sue. He beat Peebna at CEO, which is so randomly funny to me.
I know, right?
He also beat Gact at the SP3 Umebura, and yeah, I mean, he's clearly. I hadn't heard of him either in Smash 4 at this level. I heard that he was like potentially one of those like Frostbite crew battlers where
right.
They'd come and then they'd like wreck the bracket or not, but then wreck the crew battle. I don't think Japan's ever lost the crew battle in any form. I know that Team International at the Zero Saga slapped Team America, and I know that maybe they did this year. I don't know. But anyways, Proto Bayhem, congratulations to him. Free agent, has a compendium. Or not a compendium, rather, donation drive to an unofficial donation drive, not put on by Evo, not put on by anybody except the community, to go to Evo. So if you'd like to support this player into getting to Evo and disproving Coney wrong, then you can donate to him on Twitter. He's on Twitter.
Isn't that already? I think registration's closed. Did he get in or not?
Oh, well, I think you probably registered, and then like the flight is like, you know, you could burn $60.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, registration is closed, but I mean the numbers right here are really impressive. 8.5. I don't know. I think if we went to Evo, that would be like the one thing to cement him. Zach Ray 2. I think that's rude, high key. But
I got him. If he does go to Evo, I got him
25th.
I'll give you 17th.
Dude.
Depends on bracket, but I'll give you the 17th.
No respect.
Or, well, no, I was going to say, or you're going to lose early and then run into, like, tweaking losers. But he plays Lucina, so he's not losing to anybody dumb. He's not losing to, like, Magister. You know? He's not going to lose to, like, a dumb character with Lucina. He's gonna coast on that for a little while. So, yeah, I mean, I got... Those losses are really good. Kameme twice, Leo, Nairo...
It's like, dude, if these are the people who set the curve on the exam, all right?
Right.
Like,
yes.
Losing to them, it's like, all right, well, I mean, I studied, all right? My B turns into an A. That's pretty much what happens to these players that have these exceptionally good losses. Yeah. And it's also a product of seeding, which I don't want to get into a seeding discussion, but like, you know, a lot of people were talking about how, you know, with placements being such an issue of contention and people have, quote unquote, no control over who they fight in bracket, and this, that, and the other. Realize that the people winning never have these conversations. But anyways, that's a different story.
Yes. Yeah.
The people with the higher seeds having supposedly easier brackets. Yeah, when those easier brackets fall apart and then they're in losers, yes, your run ends early. But again, he only lost to Kameme twice, Leo, and Nairo as far as this is concerned. And so, yeah, for Proto Banham, I think all eyes are on him for Evo, or at least the great majority. I hope that he does well. I want to see him top 8. That'd be cool.
I want to see him do well. I'm not feeling it. I don't think so.
Anyways,
I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm a hater. I don't know.
You're
up next,
a hater.
22.
22. 22nd. Now, what's to say
El
about
Toxico.
him? Was that tier? Who made that tier list?
It's so funny. It's the same as like the Shaggy one, but it's just with Smash people. I love it.
So
22nd.
No Bayo, a bit of Snake, a bit of Shulk, and you got Salem. Really strangely, not strangely, but just like, I don't know. Like, I wonder where he's gonna go next. A wide array of results here. Double 60 fits. A 5th as a peak, a pair of 13s, a top 7 at MomoCon. He won a C tier. He got 3rd at another one, the one in Cali. Salem's like almost as enigmatic as ever. And I also don't know where like Shulk is going. I know he had a link for a moment. That stopped. But yeah, it's almost like reminding me a little bit of how he started in Smash 4. Obviously, he came from Brawl, a lot of experience, everything else. But I wonder if this is like the slow start revving up, or if this is where he's going to be, because he had a very insane peak in Smash 4. I mean, he made second at one point, right?
I think Salem is
You think
better
it's up from here?
Yes, absolutely. I think Salem's just getting started, and I think Salem gets better the bigger the stage is and the longer things go. So I think for the first season, for him to be this high is like, that's an omen.
Uh-oh.
I mean, you look at the X Factor, they have him at +3, which I think is pretty conservative. I would expect him to have even more of an X Factor.
I don't think anyone ever really contended with him being top 15, though, because of the way he was losing.
Yeah, probably not top 15, but I would have him at, like, I feel like this would be drastically different if you gave the X Factor survey to, instead of 30 people, give it to, like, the top 10 players. Like, Salem has an insane level of sort of prestige and respect within that group, and I think I'm looking at it from that lens, not because I'm good at the game, but because all of them know, and because I know what Salem can accomplish, especially when the stakes are the highest. Mm-hmm. So I think Salem is definitely, I think he's only going to get stronger. I think 19th in terms of X Factor basically makes sense. 22nd is good, but I would not be surprised to see him. I don't know about top 10 next season because the competition's so high, but I think he'll only go up. I could be wrong. This is just how I feel, but I think he's only going to go up.
Yeah, he is in a very good spot here. And again, the other side of this baseball card, 12-11 is stupendous. His wins were incredible. His losses were very respectable as well. What landed him, though, in those double 65ths, or was it double? Yeah, at Frostbite, Salem lost to Ryuga and SDX. What is up with SDX? Then at Prime Saga, he lost to I'm Hip and Quick. How interesting. I'm Hip and Olimar from SoCal, I know for sure. Or I think he was banned at one point, but I think he's Olimar. And then Quick.
Wait, Salem lost to SDX?
Salem lost to SDX at Frostbite, yeah.
How in God's name do you lose to Mewtwo as Snake? You couldn't have been Snake. Well, you probably won some dumb stuff.
Here's the other thing too to consider about Salem is he had a Link at one point. He was taking out Shulk. He had Lucina. Yeah. I think Snake is his pretty like, you know what I mean, like the character that clicked for him. His Snake, I remember commentating him versus Pelka at Pound with J-Dog. Shout out to J-Dog, and it was an arduous Game 5 35-minute YouTube set.
I remember.
Yeah, so I think if this PGR was from March until today, I mean, he would be extremely high. Sure. I think most of the people would who had a character crisis. And I don't know that it was a character crisis for what it's worth, because Salem seems to have been doing anything he wanted with whoever he picked up. But in terms of making meta sense,
he's having a great time. It's not a crisis if you're enjoying it, and that's what he is.
But like, I don't know how far the Link really could have gone. I mean, being real, like, it is still Link. Many things to consider, right? Not saying Link is trash or this, that, and the other, but Snake, obviously, man, like Nikita, and even just everything else with like the moves that he's been able to make, like slapping people up. So if Snake stays as his main, which I imagine, he goes Snake to Evo, I could see him making top 16 at Evo pretty comfortably. Yeah.
I don't think that's a question. Like I said, the bigger the stage is, I think the stronger he is. I could see him going really far. He's always been that way. He's just, you can't, he is the opposite of Wadi. Like Wadi, you could sort of project through the bracket. You're like, all right, he'll beat him, he'll lose to that guy, he'll get there. And like, he might throw you off. Salem, you can't, he's every fantasy team's worst nightmare. Because like, you don't know what he's going to do. But he does show up when the stakes are the highest. So I think he's a guy to watch at Evo for sure.
Yeah. And, you know, part of the MVG banner, previously Team Liquid. I mean, he's definitely been in and around top teams, and will always have that visibility and that ability to travel. So Aside from controversy that he stirs when he wants to get with his Twitter fingers, he's definitely on the sticks, slapping people up. So the Leo win, the 3 Mutace wins, and this is the funny part: Mutace 3-0, Samsora 0-3. It's so interesting because I don't know where the Peach Snake matchup stands. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on either side, but it's interesting to have literally the mirrored results. Like, is it that Salem can't get over Sam and Mute can't get over Snake or Salem? Like, it's just interesting. But just on the note, high level Peaches on both sides of the matchup, like spread with him, or the game set with him. I don't know who wins, I don't know who loses, but just funny to see.
My instinct, and I could be wrong about this, and maybe it's painted by brawl perception, because Snake did just demolished Peach in that game. There's nothing she could do.
Peach, you know?
But at the same time, I feel like I looking at those numbers, what it suggests to me is that Mutace can't get over the matchup, but Samsora is just a better player than Salem. Like, that's what it suggests to me, and I could be wrong. That's just how I'm reading
layering too, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I think that Snake might have the edge. I could be wrong too, because like I commentated Samsora against Salem, and Samsora did stuff I'd never seen. So I haven't seen that matchup enough at top level. I'm with you. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I could be totally, just kind of spitting in the wind. But that's what it says to me, is that Snake might have an edge on Peach, but Samsora is just on a different tier of player.
Yeah, and that's why it's all tier list, the whole thing. Like, Smash is always, because of the wide array of characters and the open nature of the game, right? Like, there's obviously frame data, there's obviously like the same standards that you compare like to other fighting games. Like, obviously when you pick up DBZ fighters, like you look at someone like Gotenks in the very beginning, like, okay, frame data, wow, or like even like Bardock later with like the different things that he had. In this game, like, yes, there are obviously clear moves that are great, and you look at like Ganon and like the long startup and whatever. In any case, like, anytime someone wins a big major or anyone does something crazy, like with Leo, like when he had Ike and now he has Joker, I think people are starting to talk about Joker more negatively, but at the same time, like, it is the player a lot of times too. And
of course,
if Samsora didn't exist and it was just Mutace to Salem, and it's like, wow, Peach like gets bodied, then when Samsora shows you a new perspective, then you're like, oh wow, now I have to actually critically think about this and decide, is Samsora better than Salem strictly, or is he being helped by the matchup as well? But how can that be if Mutace is like down 3 sets, or is it that Mutace can't get over the matchup? So just cool stuff to see. Always love being able to show the data. Congratulations in any case for Salem. This will probably be his floor, I imagine, because his Snake ending this season looked very, very strong, very, very good.
I think he's only going up.
Yeah, I don't see him getting any worse, and I don't see Snake getting any worse personally. But here at 21st, now the second Pokemon trainer, I want to say, at least in this 21 through 50, Wishes, popping off and doing it with Trainer. How do you feel about Trainer?
Again, wow. Like, I'm really surprised by this. So Smash and Splash, clearly we thought, put a big boost on certain players, but 17th isn't amazing. It's not bad, but I mean, like, some of the other people we saw at like mid 30s who didn't really have anything, and then like boom, big pop off at Smash and Splash. So I'm kind of surprised by this. I think it comes down to the wins, as do a lot of the other names that we've mentioned. Kind of threw me off. Wishes, of course, one of the premier Inkling, one of the first people to play Inkling when the game first came out, said, I don't really like this, and switched over to PT. And PT has been just super strong for him. So yeah, just really talented player. Had a pleasure of commentating some of his sets. It's very good.
Yeah. So the 17th at Frostbite, I think like the way to frame it better too is like, okay, yeah, that would be a drag down for most people, but like, it's also something that can really propel you if it's like one of the only things you have. And also when like you're talking about the range of players. Like 17th at Frostbite is what starts to drag the top 10. 17th for anybody else is like insane. Like 17th out of those people. Like,
no, I guess you're right.
That's insane.
You're right, because like if he was a 9th there, he would be in the top 15, no question. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it gets crazier. Like again, it's like how we look at numbers and how we treat them. I'll keep the screen up. But regardless, 8 and 10. I mean, holy wow. Dark Wizzy, Leon, Samsora, T, Taya, and Yeti. As far as wins go, and then DeBuzz, Mars, Myra, Naira, and Light, who he did take a set on. So it's 1-2, just so you know. The majority wins are on the left side, and on the right side, it's majority loss. So, first time PGR player. Didn't make it at all in Smash 4. I wasn't really aware of him in Smash 4. If I look him up, he was in Tri-State, right, during that time?
Think so. Yeah. He's from Jersey.
Yeah. Formerly known as Vivid and Justy. So maybe he went through some name changes and I never heard of him. He's 17 right now. So extremely young as well. Yeah. And Wii U, it seems like he didn't ever really... I mean, he got 9th at a Smashadelphia, 33rd at a Shine. Glitch 4, he got 25th. Interesting. Frostbite, 129th. Yeah, so maybe he was just getting started. Maybe this game clicked for him. I mean, definitely it has, given his results. These are not flukes by that standard.
Well, he was one of the most visible people that were this, let's say, taking a very active interest in the game. It's the best way I can put it for this broadcast. He was very excited for the release. So he's been grinding for a very, very long time. More than most people had an opportunity to. So, yeah, I mean, like, I for it to come to fruition and him to do this well is really impressive.
Yeah. -2 X Factor puts him in the top 23, or puts him at 23rd. Not really surprised by that, huh?
The X Factor doesn't throw me off at all, but I thought it would be bigger. Like, having a negative X Factor is one thing, but only -2. Having him in the top 25... yeah, that's... I don't know. I think he had a really close set with Leo.
You know,
if I'm not mistaken.
It'd probably be way lower if it was a Palutena main. But I think with Trainer...
Oh, yeah. No question.
With Trainer, there's like a lot of perceivable hype that people assign to him.
I feel that.
To Trainer, or to like... Oh, wow, the mental calculus they must be going. But anytime I tune into a Trainer, I'll be real. It's like, okay, Ivysaur, Dare or up air, or a Charizard back air. That's what we're fishing for in some situations. So it's like, it's not that crazy. Like, the concept of juggling 3 characters might seem like, whoa. But, I mean, they're using the most optimal parts of the whole entire kit. So...
They're pretty flowcharty, which is like kind of disappointing, but
for a character that could be like, whoa, like really wild, like a melee Pokemon trainer, you know, like if
it is kind of interesting that like it is kind of interesting that certain players will have certain sort of proclivities to particular Pokemon. So like Squirtle has been playing PT, or I'm sorry, Tweak has been playing PT. Like he really likes Squirtle. You know, Puppey obviously plays a lot of Charizard. You see sort of people leaning one way or the other, but I think it's very clear that like they have a very set sort of game plan in a lot of matchups.
Yeah, and I think even for like Sinji as well, like as a Pac-Man player, like I don't think Pac-Man, it's weird, like Pac-Man gets people hype, but it also gets people not hype. And I think that regardless, there's like a respect there, kind of like there was for Rosalina, but there's no like, wow, he's so sick because he plays Pac-Man. It's like, wow, Sinji's sick because of what he does with Pac-Man, not Sinji's a sick Pac-Man player, I feel. And that's not shots at Sinji, obviously, but it's like, I feel like many characters, like Olimar, dude, like I think Myron's been getting like the worst of it because people dislike the character, so is the Buzz. Like, it's not a popular character to play, but then, you know, Mars burying people with Flip Kick. It's like, he does things that are in one sense like one-sided, but it's like Zersuit's fun to watch, you know.
Sure.
So I think Wishes got a little boost in people's minds to like be at 23rd. I think he also did sick plays. I think he also benefited from being on stream when he was against the players he was. It's just everything, dude. It's like how perception is really molded by not only broadcast, but like what people say on Twitter and like all this other stuff. Like,
well, also he had a very, let me see. I'm gonna go back because I commentated this set. He had a game 5. Yeah, he had a game 5 set with Leo.
Oh my god, that was a heartbreaker, dude.
Ended terribly because he almost got 3 stocked in the last game, but
yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, 2 stock, 100%. He looked like he was doing something, but yeah, Leo just kind of turned on.
Leo did the gamer lane, dude.
yeah. But if it was 2 out of 3, I think he would have won if I'm getting the game counts right. So like going to game 5 with Leo gives you a lot of. Again, you don't really count.
That's perceivable clout, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't give you the win in the books, and like we were talking about, PGR doesn't count the games, but it definitely gets some eyes looking your way, and I'm sure it attributed to the X factor being, like I said, -2. It is negative, but that's not as negative as it could be.
Puts him in top 25 in people's minds. I mean, I know that at least at least, who is very vocal on his thoughts on players and always tags and mentions when people does a good job. I remember he was popping off for wishes, and like he doesn't really do that over anybody that like is kind of like a one-hit wonder, I feel like. Okay, he does, but like the people he does it about usually end up being part of the conversation for a while, whether or not they are what they are or not.
Maybe.
I'm just saying like,
I can't think of yeah, I hear what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Like when he sheds light to someone, it's for some reason, and usually it's a reason that goes beyond just the basics. It's like, oh, he almost just upset Leo, or like,
sure,
he gives props to like, Mute Ace obviously for winning DreamHack. Like he's at the event, he acknowledges it, right? So he acknowledged wishes early on too. That also adds to the whole craze. But yeah, right here, 21 through 30, you see it. Wishes down all the way to Leia. The points now were finally hit the 70s. It took 30 people to hit the 70s. The top 10 is hovering around 100, right, in the 90s.
Yep.
But you kind of see now, like, I'd be interested to see someone plot all these people, and you can see like the gaps, right? Because the biggest jump here, there's 1 point between Wishes and Salem, 0.3 between Salem and Proto Banham. It kind of goes down the list. I think the biggest jump might be between Sinji and Wadi. Yeah, it seems like Sinji and Wadi. Sinji and Wadi is about I can't do math. It's like about 2 points and some change. Yeah. The rest are decimals. So everyone's always really close. Everyone's really in competition. But there you have it. 21 through 30. We're going to open up to Q&A in a sec. But yeah, anyone that hasn't made it yet, Coney, that you're kind of crushed about? Because this confirms, again, people know how to lock in who the top 20 are. They don't know the order. But is there anyone that hasn't been mentioned that should have made it in your eyes that you're upset about?
Not really. I'm really surprised that Leffen's top 20. I think that's going to be a big reveal when that happens.
So the Q&A is going to begin with people tagging us in the chat. Leffen's the new DK Will, which I hate.
I know. Yes, he is.
It's not good for the culture. No. But tag us in the chat. We're going to go ahead and take a couple questions, shotgun them on this Friday afternoon so we can get our evening started. Banquo SSB asks, this is a good one. What character currently represented in the PGR? What character currently underrepresented? Oh my gosh, unrepresented? Is unrepresented a word? Anyways,
I don't know.
What character currently unrepresented in the PGR would you like to see get top player representation / a PGR rep? Is there anyone that's missing?
We Fit Trainer. I think We Fit Trainer is ultra slept on.
Wait. No, there was one. Someone had a secondary.
Yeah, well, Wadi secondaries We Fit Trainer. I'm talking about maining We Fit Trainer. I want to see that.
Tighten up that form.
Also, Young Link has totally fallen off the face of the earth. At least in top level representation. I mean, like you've got some secondaries here and there.
But not yet. Like a secondary from T and a secondary from like Tweak.
Yeah, so like I'm talking about mains here, not like, I'm gonna use this character if I'm better than you anyway. Like Wadi, I think, used the Wii Fit where Rob didn't work, so I think that's a different situation. But I think Young Link can still turn some heads. I think Wii Fit is way stronger than people give her credit for. That's all I could think of, honestly, in terms of like I'd like to see Incineroar, but that's not going to happen. That character is bracket luck incarnate. So yeah, I think that's probably it.
I'm gonna have a weird take here and actually say I want to see Sheik.
Okay.
I think she's one of the funner characters to watch, and her oppression is hilarious. Obviously, it's not working out in this game with everyone being frame 3 jump squat, but I want to see a Sheik come back. And I want to see it not be Void or Mr. R. Or if it were to be them, that'd be cool. Because they always bring her out every now and then. But
yeah,
it's just too much. But like a new Sheik would be very insane. But I also don't see that happening. I don't even think it's bracket luck necessarily. As opposed to it is just like... I mean, dying early. You know, she's still susceptible to that. Not killing like as well. Still susceptible to that. Rage has been toned down, but there's just, I mean, when Wolf exists,
also, why would you?
Yeah, like when Wolf exists, you know, it's like...
There's no reason to really play Sheik in this game unless you think she's really, really fun, but she's sort of in that... So for anybody that plays League, I'm going to make a comparison here. So there are certain characters in League that are... Basically, they do the same thing. Like... Lux, Ziggs, and Xerath basically do the same thing.
Like mages, right?
Right, they're long-range mages. They all are just long-range artillery mages. So whichever one is the best is the one that you play. Sheik, you don't... She's like a worse Joker. And I know that a lot of people sort of make that comparison sort of lazily in a lot of ways. Sheik does have things that she could do, but anything that you're going to optimize for Sheik, you could optimize for a different character and probably see more results. I feel like it's
true. It's like, why would you?
There's no reason.
Why would you go for the great value when you can go for the brand name?
Right, and if you're gonna play something, either you go for the best version of that, so like, you go for the best version of Sheik, which might be, you know, Joker, maybe, if you want to make that comparison, or you go for something wholly unique that does its own thing, that doesn't have any really other parallels that you really jive with in terms of playstyle. So I think Sheik is just in the shadow of all these other characters.
Yeah, like Pikachu is faster and hurts more than her. Zero Suit is as fast and also disjoints and has nutty things. Even Greninja. You know what's funny? Sheik is now the Greninja of this game. Like Greninja was the Greninja of last game. I feel like there's always that, you can get that hype. You know, maybe like drag down up air, reset into a grab, into fair, soft nair, into bouncing fish, get some stuff going. But it's like, that did 24%.
It's funny because like Greninja was like Sheik Jr. in the last game, and now Greninja's his own thing.
But like doesn't, So I think that'll answer that. So thanks, Banco, for the question. Hopefully seeing a Sheik one day. Hopefully seeing an Incineroar. I know that's what Coney really wanted to say, but we got another question. Shulk also underrepresented. Someone said. Salem played a little. bit.
I'm gonna throw. Sorry. I want to see more Inklings. Because I don't think Inkling is top tier. How many Inklings are on the PR? How many are there?
It's actually all of top 20.
John Numbers. Like,
wait,
I
John
can't
Numbers
even name 20 ones. John Numbers, he did for a while. I think there might be one Inkling on the PGR. I've been saying for I know
that
this
is
soapbox.
Or is not Cosmos.
There's one that, and it is Cosmos and Abadango. Oh, I forgot about Abadango. Okay, 2. Abadango. Okay, fine. I'll give you Abadango.
But like when people say top character, like the first 15 should feature at least 3. You know. I mean,
I have said for a long time that I think Inkling is like the top of high tier. I don't think it's a top tier character. I always talk about it with top players, and all the top players say that I'm wrong, and we have respectful conversations because we're adults and like they get it, and I get it. But I played Inkling. I think everybody has this idea of potential, right? Because Inkling can only go up. They have so many tools. But it hasn't happened yet. Maybe it will happen. Maybe people will play lamer. But I just don't think it's a top tier character. Anyway, that's my spiel.
I got you. I mean, I think that in large part is likely due probably to Zero who first proclaimed that very early on, and that carried a lot of weight for a long time. Not faulting, but also faulting. I think it's just, you know, people look up to people, and that's what he said, and people followed that. But the crazy part is that, yeah, like Peach, pretty perceivably top tier, and there's already 3. Inkling, there was 1 at the very bottom, and then Cosmos at the very top. Just 2, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe next season more people pick up Inkling. Maybe there's a patch. Who knows? I personally don't. I think Inkling is wild, but I don't know that like they shut out anybody super crazy, or maybe they do. I don't know. Like I've only ever seen Cosmos. Yeah, high tier.
High tier.
Anyways, next question by No Punish Alexander. Panda Global, how is the team handling criticism of this first PGRU? It seems like some top players are quick to speak against it, without actually trying to understand how rankings are computed. It's not our first rodeo. That's what I'll say. I'll be honest, reception is actually pretty positive. I've never seen it be this exciting and this enthusiastic. I think, you know, at the end of the day, people know what they get now. It's like, okay, it's algorithmic. We already went through the whole thing. Objective and subjective are 2 different things. And if someone makes the algorithm, it kind of like, that's not objective, right? But it's data-based, and it's empirical, and it's impartial. So it's like, once it makes a list, we don't just move people we want to move. It's just what it is. But top players have been pretty good about it. I think everyone already has it in their bio. I'm just going to look at Wishes and just guess that he does. Wishes has it in his bio, 21. Abadango, just to see, maybe in the lower 40s. Abadango also has it in his bio, number 40, ranked worldwide. So it's definitely something that people like want to represent, want to feature. What I will say is, like Mars said the other day when we were in Escape Room, he turned to me, he's like, hey Suar, isn't ranking people like kind of effed up? And I was like, I looked at him for a second, he's like, isn't it kind of messed up to like physically rank people over each other? And I was like, yeah, it kind of is. You're right. It kind of is messed up. But at the end of the day, people want that story, want that clout, want that glory. So I will say that the people that make it at the top rarely speak out against it. It's the people who get shut out. And that, I think, speaks more to the situation than it does what we're doing. People don't make it and they wanted their placements to matter more. People don't make it and they wanted their wins to matter more. People don't make it and they want majors to be in their country more. Like, I don't
and
really
some
know.
people are just wrong. Like that Hugs tweet, that was awful.
Oh God.
Where Hugs was
you know
like,
what's
wow,
nice though? You know what's nice though? What's nice is in this age, now with data being so available, I mean, yeah, we hoard like as much as we can with like all the stuff we dig up. Or not hoard rather, but like index, like privately, just we have our own stuff, right? Now there's like on top of Smash Wiki, I know that a bunch of people in the PG Sets Discord have been sharing this one data site that like has like sets come up and game counts. Receipts are just more accessible now. And so people also just slap people with the data and they're like, how did they not make it? Like my guy, like they were like this. And they're like, hey, he had like 14 unranked losses. And it's like, oh, well, I didn't know that. A lot of the times it comes to that, but you know, I've always told people like criticisms are feedback. So like when people dislike something and they're vocal about it, we always look into it as a team, make the changes that are appropriate if needed. If not, it's like, yeah, it's going to stir up noise. No one likes to be told that their mediocrity is being measured and then charted, because in everyone's mind, like they're the best at what they do in some cases. So like to be told like, hey, you didn't make this list or something, it's like almost like unacceptable in their paradigm, which gets a little philosophical. But for the most part, I mean, Coney, have you seen anything? I mean, most people are just talking about like the international or the US bias, which is like a time-old situation. It's like, how do we move Genesis to Honduras? You know, like how do we how do we get Evo to Armenia? You know, like I don't know, right?
I mean, like there's just the normal stuff that always happens. I don't think this is any better or worse than in the past, but obviously you have more visibility on it than I do. I will say this is the hypest like 21 through 50 we've ever done. Like most people in 41 through 50, they don't care. Maybe some hometown heroes pop off, but like people are getting triples, sometimes 4 digits
for like their impressions on these things, which is pretty cool to see for like 40-second, you know, that's hype. But go on.
No, I think that you have more visibility on what is and isn't sort of getting that level of feedback, whether it's vitriolic or, you know, good. It seems sort of standard than what we've had in the past. Everybody's really excited for the new game. They want to see where they stand. There have been some questions about the algorithm, but people seem generally accepting. It's like, I don't know. I feel like it's fine. Maybe the next one will be a little bit... I don't know if the next one will be calmer or more...
I think it will be, dude.
I don't know.
Like, listen, the other thing, too, is, like, 3 patches, 2 characters, multiple character crises. Like, I will say right now, this will probably be, like, people like Nairo's and Salem's worst seasons, you know? Like, they were going through characters, you know? And what sucks is, like, they were going through characters at ranked events, not at locals. So I think, like, once they got their characters, like, Salem's not switching out of Snake, right? He's going to keep Snake and maybe some pockets. Like, their next season is going to be more consistent. So this will be everyone's worst season, except for Leo. This will be everyone's worst season by far, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think that's just how it works, because it's like the game's getting standard, the meta's getting more formalized. We might see a lot of these players actually not return, because like we saw in the first PGR for Smash 4, a lot of the quote-unquote, you know, I'm going to just say it how it is, but like gimmick characters, right? People that play unexpected matchups that people don't know ahead of time, it starts to get phased out. So
yes,
not that anyone's strictly carried by like gimmicks necessarily, because this game's kind of more even-handed than the last. Sure. You might see some drop-offs. So thanks for that question. Next one, Pig Goon, Panda Global for Suar. What are your favorite commentary moments / things commentators do, and least favorite commentary moments / things commentators do?
I made this tweet.
Wait, when?
You didn't see it? It was yesterday. I just said...
I don't follow you.
Okay. I said, say your favorite thing and your least favorite thing that commentary, that in commentary or that commentators do. So.
Oh, jeez. I'll use Coney as an example.
I was gonna say, if you wanted to know mine to get your brain jogging, but go ahead.
All right, what's your favorite and least favorite thing? I'll just do one and one since this is a little off topic.
My favorite thing, which I said, this is just me reading my tweet. But my favorite thing is when a commentator can pick up on a small nuance or a habit. So like, okay, this person always, whether it's like a roll habit, maybe a ledge option that somebody keeps doing, and then it like influences a pivotal moment later on in the match. Like, okay, he always drops shield and then full hops, and then the other guy waits for the drop shield and then up smashes in place, something like that. Showing commentators that are sort of leaned in and dialed into the match and can look at it from a player perspective. I think that's good. What I hate is the common verbiage. I hate I said the rent-a-commentator. That's just like, oh, did he just... Oh, that man has a family! You can't just do that! He's already dead! You know what? That's what happens when a matchup is this explosive, when you have such a momentum-based, volatile player. I think that's basically what I said. Just that kind of shit. Just the really corny, hacky stuff. I don't like that. Because I feel like that's just what... That's like commentary 5 years ago, you know? Like, I don't know. You're just saying what you've heard other people say.
I respect that. Adding to the moment versus just adding because you feel like you have the need to. I guess this question takes me by surprise mostly because, I don't know, like, commentary for me, it seems like a solved thing. I think the people that are doing it at the level that they are doing it now for a while, and I think what I dislike is people, I don't know how to put it. I think that, like, I dislike commentators putting themselves at the center of any moment, regardless of the context.
Sure.
When they say, oh, well, I was talking to Salem about this, and it's like, dude, you asked them, like, a question maybe? Like, I don't know. Like, you could use knowledge maybe that you can, like, take from other events and put it, but, like, making it look like you're cool with the player, that you know the player, like, in a way that, Wait, where did Coney go? Oh, Coney's right there. Sorry.
I'm still here.
Production. That to me just bothers me a bit, and also just like loudness in a way that like certain people should be able, like, EE getting loud for me is always acceptable, but I guess there's just certain registers that I don't like hearing very loud.
I hear you.
And so just being mindful of that, like how can you add the hype without overloading the mic or overloading the audience? Like shrieking, like, I don't know. What's cool about this PGR though in the videos is that a lot of people have been highlighted in their commentary inadvertently because the clips that Cut has been choosing have been phenomenal. So you always hear people popping off. So I would look to those moments as seeing what sounds naturally good and what doesn't, because to me, like the ones that stand out as bad, which are hardly any because most of these are in key sets, which are higher in the bracket, is what, like how you should do it, in my opinion. So
one thing I've noticed is that a lot of like the big hits that are sort of peppering the PGR thing, the call is always just like a surprise kill. It's just, oh, we got to do better than that. That's not that's making the PGR, because like every single thing is just 3 of those in a row. Just just it's too much. So yeah,
Buzzinga.
Yeah. The volume thing is actually an interesting point, because so in theater, what they teach you, right, is that if you start up here, there's nowhere else to go. So if you're in the 7th place match and you're here already, if you're all the way up here and you're not down here, then you can't go up any higher for first. You know what I mean?
Ah,
like, you can't.
It's being measurable to the hype at hand and not making it up.
That's why in pools you have 2 commentators. They should be like a little bit more, unless a big upset's happening. You're just like, you know, it's pretty standard. That's your pools, and then you get bigger and bigger, and then you build to the top 8, and then in top 3 it's a big deal.
Yeah. I also like commentators who are knowledgeable about set counts too and matches, and usually it's because I've given them something or because they're well researched or they have like the memory of an elephant, which EE somehow does. He's
convinced everybody he's stupid. It's like his shtick.
EE recalls game counts at events 5 years ago, which I don't understand how, but that's always good because knowing their PR, knowing their PGR, knowing their region, knowing like when a commentator's like, so we have coming up whoever this guy is, it's like, dude, oh my god. And I know that sometimes the stream doesn't help you because, like, you know, unless you're with VGBC or like some of the bigger outfits, you don't have like the monitor that says, okay, we have this person from this person who plays that. Worst thing you can do is call someone who they're not, or like mistake 2 people together who look similar. That would be bad. Yeah, moving on. Thank you for the question. I'm gonna take a couple more. Ace Supernova 369. Do you think? Here we go. Do you think that the PGR should be US only because of Meru's comments? He's a Peach player from Europe. On the PGR, he was basically saying like, drop the whole global branding. It's a US thing. And the question continues to say, and about Leffen and Wizrobe not being based on Hugs' comments. Well, Hugs' comments were already disproven. But interesting. A lot of people in the past, and by a lot of people I mean 3DMs, have asked for help in creating their own regional PGRs or like PRs, or they've asked why we don't. Like, hey, like, can we make a Mexican PGR? Hey, can we make like why don't you make a Japan PGR or like a European PGR or something? And like, I think the real answer to the question is like, what are we trying to do and like why? And so I think the PGR's main goal is highlight and celebration and accuracy. And I think we're really killing it and spiking it in 2 of those goals. And the accuracy part is the one that the whole community has struggled with since Melee. Melee so much so that they went into a balloting system, which is our X Factor, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And 50 of them get under one roof, one collective internet roof, and rank a bunch of players based on their own opinion, right? And subjectivity with the results in front of them. I think Mango is a 9. I think Leffen is a 10, and whatever. That's average, blah, blah, blah. Cool. That's their ranking. And it's funny because yesterday I saw the Moon and a bunch of other people were like, well, how can PG do this? Like, because I think yesterday was 40 through 31 or something had happened in 41 through 50 that people were confused about. And everyone's like, dude, that's how they've always done it. So Melee has its share of problems, even when it does it through balloting, right? Talking more about regional though, because Melee does not have an international scene that they have to deal with like we do, except for Amza and Rudolph in Japan and certain Canadian and certain Mexican players. They just don't have the same amount of tournaments we do in the same amount of places. So I think if we were to break apart the PGR and make it just US based, that would effectively just be a death sentence for other regions getting exposure. And I say that because I think the power of having Abadango highlighted within names like, you know, Mr. R and, you know, some of the other people that he was with versus like a Japan ranking. Like, first of all, if there's a Japan PGR, like Coney's not even watching that. So it's like we lose an audience, and people care about what they know. And if people don't know about Japan, they don't care about it. So I think this, unfortunately, like might seem like it comes as like a compromise for an entire region, but I think like we're getting closer to making the global scale more and more inclusive, but also we cannot do, this is like the 2GGC situation in the US. Like we cannot do anything about the fact that Genesis happens in Oakland and that people travel there to play once a year in excess of like 1,000, almost 2,000 people. So I think the outcries are definitely justified, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, was there anyone, Coney, that got left off that's an international star that should have made it in your opinion? Not from the United States?
I mean, not really that I could think of. I mean, like Meister is who a lot of people brought up. But I don't know if he's had, like, again, he's kind of a he wins combo a lot. Breaker. Yeah, I mean, like, he's got some wins, but I don't know if it's at that level. Europe's got some people, but I don't think it's at that level. Like, I don't think it's I don't know, I can't think of anybody from Europe that's at the level where, like, I could see them maybe, I don't know, I could see them, you know, in the 40 to 50 range, but I'm pretty ignorant on their placing, so I could be just, you know, talking out of my butt. I don't know. It's
some people did pop off at Albion, but by and large in Smash 4 the story was Mr. R leading the charge, and then I don't think it helped that when he was there he was like their zero.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very sort of ignorant to. I very much only focus on the U.S. and not even the whole U.S. sometimes. So yeah, it's
Carolina,
not. I
North
couldn't
Carolina,
tell
Georgia, no love from Coney. So yeah, there's a good one. 2 more and then we're done, I promise. Oh, this is cool. So, from Banco again, of all the players who have slipped off the PGR since Smash 4, which do you think can bounce back onto it? Names including Anti, Larry, Ken, Como, Locust, Rich Brown, Choco, etc. I'm gonna say Larry, first and foremost. Larry will make it back before everyone that was mentioned. Maybe Ken. Ken would have to travel a whole lot.
Ken's old and busy, apparently.
That's a hard.
I'm just saying, like,
that's a hard matchup. Yeah, I remember. He didn't go to much towards the end because he was literally working. Choco could pop off. Anti, as soon as he gets a character, I think. And Locust, I don't see. Rich Brown, maybe. Has he not popped off with Olimar? Isn't that his brawl, dude?
Yeah, that's kind of surprising. Rich Brown is probably old and busy too. If I had to guess, I might be wrong.
Yeah, so I think that's it. One more question here, unless that's it. Actually, I think that ties it up. I don't have any more in the chat.
Cool. I got a friend I'm playing TFT with, and he's been waiting for me, so I gotta go do that.
Thank you for telling everyone that.
TFT's great.
Coney here, dedicated to the last minute. This has been the PGR Mini Roundtable for 30 through 21. If you haven't caught it already, it's on YouTube, and the articles are on Red Bull. So navigate to that on Twitter. You can reach PG Stats at the PG Stats. Myself and Coney, our socials were up earlier, and PG_Suar, and he is Coney ZZ. On Tuesday of next week, we're going to continue with 20 through 11. Finally, Thursday will be 10 through 1. We're going to try to open up the roundtable, but again, some scheduling and some formatting issues. We've just kept it to us, and I kind of like it small versus having everybody go around in a circle to talk about number 43.
Sure.
But regardless, we're innovating the format, getting more people involved, and next week after all that is going to be Evo. So everything we just said will either be incredibly wrong and make everybody double take when Proto Banham drowns in pools, or when he wins Evo and proves Coney wrong and justifies his ranking. So
yeah, okay.
It's always
okay.
It's always what happens. But in any case, catch the Thunder Smash Invitational. Coney's gonna be there. Hopefully it doesn't make it into the GR Trash Smash Cringe compilation.
It'll be fine.
And good luck to the 8 that are going. I think it's Dark Wizzy, Nico, Larry Lure, Void, and a bunch of other people, SoCal, all that, whatever. So you can catch them on the Thunder Smash site. Everybody else, good luck. And yeah, if you haven't seen your favorite player by now, they're probably not on it, or they're on next week. So catch us next time. Coney and I say goodbye. Coney, final words. We're good.
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you at Thunder this weekend, and I'll see you Tuesday for 20 through 11. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good weekend. We'll see you soon.
All right. Bye, everyone.